On Sky News Business, this is Business Class.
Hi, I'm James Wilkinson, and welcome to Business Class. Today, we're in Rome as our journey through the Eternal City continues. Now, before we show you more of what Rome has to offer, here's this week's travel news. In travel news this week, Australia's largest hotel industry conference, AHICE, has just been held in Melbourne, with loads of announcements coming out of the two-day event. New hotels to be announced at AHICE include 2 new Hyatt Hotels in Melbourne, under the Hyatt Place and Hyatt-centric brands. One property will be located in the city's CBD, while the other will be located in Springvale, in the city's southeast. IHG also announced some new hotels, with 3 properties coming to Melbourne, including a Holiday Inn hotel in the suburb of Coburg and a dual-branded hotel in the CBD, featuring the Holiday Inn and Indigo brands. Accor also announced a new hotel during AHICE in the form of the Seaboard Brisbane Margate Beach, which is set to open in May. The hotel will feature 58 spacious studio rooms, each of which features a separate dining area and balcony. There was also a major segment at AHICE which featured the global CEO of AccorHotels, Sebastien Bazin, who spoke about the upcoming acquisition of Mantra Group.
Well, I'm excited about everything, certainly excited. Any new acquisition we make is a new venture. It's actually a new risk, but it's a good adventure. Mantra is very powerful. I was there myself a month ago. So I went to the Gold Coast for the first time in my life, which I wish I would have stayed there kind of actually 2 weeks, but the brand, the people, the network, the quality of the units, extraordinary. I was very pleased. It's extremely complementary to our core existing network. And I think what we're going to be able to provide to the guests is one of a kind. So New Zealand, I need to go to New Zealand next time, so invite me there.
Yeah, well, you've got so many fantastic properties in that part of the world. You've got a very robust pipeline in that part of the world, but I guess it gives you some great scale, doesn't it?
Well, yeah, we do open like 260 hotels a year, which is 1 new hotel every 30 hours. Half of them happen to be in Asia Pacific, because this is where we have the fastest growth in terms of opportunities. Many of it in Malaysia, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, and obviously Pacific. China is also a big market for us. But I guess without discounting what could be done in the Gulf, what could be done in Africa, what we're doing now in South America. We made a big acquisition last year of BHG in Brazil. We're still growing fast in Europe. So yeah, it's as I've been telling many of you, it's a blessed industry in which what I call the big gorillas, the 5 American, the 2 Chinese, and 1 Accor being non-American, non-Chinese. We have an enormous field for us to really equip, and it's both for intra-domestic travelers as it is for being recipient of international travelers. So the next 20 years is going to be extremely good, extremely solid. You just have to watch out who's going to be benefiting from it and who's going to be losing, because you're going to have different categories.
In airline news, Qantas has ordered 6 more Boeing 787 Dreamliners that will replace the airline's remaining 6 Boeing 747s in the fleet. The Dreamliners will be delivered between late 2019 and late 2020 and will see the retirement of the final 747s over the same time. It will mark the end of an era for Qantas, which has been flying the Boeing 747 since 1971. Qantas CEO Alan Joyce said it was the end of one era and the start of another, and it was also fitting that the 747 retirement would coincide with the airline's centenary in 2020. In Singapore Airlines news, the carrier's network updates down under have come into effect, including the launch of a new 4 times weekly flight between Singapore, Melbourne and Wellington. At the same time, the airline's new Singapore-Sydney-Canberra-Singapore service has also taken flight, boosting services from Sydney to 5 times daily. There's a lot happening for Qatar Airways at present, with the airline launching new destinations, upgrading others, and continuing to innovate. First up, the airline added Cardiff to the route network a few days ago, providing Australian travellers with the first ever one-stop flights to Wales. Qatar launched the new daily flights with the Airbus A350-900. However, Cardiff will be served with a Boeing 787 Dreamliner, which has a 2-class configuration featuring 22 seats in business class, as well as 232 in economy. Qatar Airways has also just upgraded its Perth to Doha flights to an Airbus A380. Now in its 6th year of operation, the deployment of the Super Jumbo on the Perth-Doha route will add an additional 300 seats every day, an increase of more than 44%. When it comes to innovation, Qatar Airways is firmly on the front foot, with the airline last week rolling out super high-speed Wi-Fi on its Boeing 777 and Airbus A350 fleets. Australian flights are expected to feature the technology in the coming months. Now it's time to check into one of the best restaurants in town, located right across from the Colosseum.
Buongiorno a tutti, sono Giuseppe di Iorio, executive chef del ristorante Aroma, Hotel Palazzo Manfredi. Ci troviamo qui in questa bellissima dimora, un palazzo dell'Ottocento al centro di Roma. Come potete notare, no? Abbiamo il monumento più bello del mondo e rappresentiamo Roma. Siamo in questa magnifica terrazza dove è nato il ristorante Aroma, una stella Michelin dal 2014, una bomboniera di ristorante, abbiamo 30 coperti, siamo aperti a pranzo e a cena e facciamo una cucina molto mediterranea, molto legata al territorio e molto legata alla stagionalità. Usiamo soltanto prodotti di stagione, non mi piace provocare la gente con prodotti fuori, soprattutto fuori dal nostro territorio. Credo che viviamo in un paese bellissimo dove sia per quanto riguarda il mare, per quanto riguarda la terra, abbiamo i migliori prodotti del mondo. E forse è per questo che siamo i più bravi al mondo. Allora, in questi ultimi anni, da 15 anni a questa parte, la cucina a Roma è molto cambiata. Fino a 15 anni fa la cucina era intesa un po' come la trattoria a Roma, no? Se ci ricordiamo anche il piatto di pasta di Alberto Sordi nei film che si vedevano, che rappresentavano un pochino Roma, cosa invece in questi ultimi anni la cucina è molto cambiata, è diventata molto più gourmet, cioè la gente oggi vuole un'esperienza a 360 gradi, un'esperienza che deve parlare di cibo, deve parlare di location, deve parlare di servizio. In questo una volta che si mette seduto il nostro ospite, veramente vuole un'esperienza a 360 gradi. Questo ha fatto sì che noi abbiamo fatto ci siamo dovuti adeguare. Io credo che fare lo chef, fare il cuoco è il più bel lavoro del mondo e siamo i terminali di una bellissima filiera, no? Cioè, regaliamo esperienze, regaliamo gioie, E questo però per dire, per quanto riguarda la cucina è cambiata un pochino. Noi una volta i piatti che rappresentavano la cucina a Roma erano la carbonara, la matriciana, no? L'abbacchio allo scottadito. Oggi vengono riproposti questi piatti, però in una forma un pochino revisionata, in forma moderna, anche perché si cura molto l'aspetto della cromaticità del piatto, la presentazione dei ragazzi della sala e soprattutto si cerca di riportare un pochino quei gusti che sono andati a perdersi negli anni. Cioè noi oggi io credo che lo scopo di ogni cuoco di oggi è di riportare quei gusti di una volta.
Still on the topic of food, here's this week's Foodie Files with Necia Wilden.
Yes, more on Rome soon, but first, some breaking restaurant news from Victoria's wine country, where a big-name city chef has been lured to head up a landmark regional development. It's Josh Pelham. He's a graduate of London's 2 Michelin star The Square, as well as Melbourne fine diner Estelle. Now he's taken the top job at Cape, the new high-end restaurant at RACV Cape Shank on the Mornington Peninsula. It recently reopened after a $150 million rebuild. The dramatic curvy architecture and the sleek restaurant fit-outs are by Wood Marsh, and the remake also incorporates an 18-hole golf course, 2 other casual eateries and 120 new rooms. So what to expect from the food at Cape? Well, it's as sophisticated as you'd expect from someone with Josh's rigorous classical background. and as relaxed and relevant as you'd expect from a chef who's been living and breathing the Mornington Peninsula for the past few months. So you might see char-grilled kingfish with wild fennel, ice plant and dill oil, or corn-fed chicken with sweet corn, charred lettuce, baby onions and jus gras. Also, a word on value, at 2 courses for $55 or 3 courses for $75, I'd be eating at Cape 3 nights a week if I could. Back in the big smoke, it's not just Roman food that's trending in our capital cities, it's Roman drinks as well. First up, in Sydney, an early adopter of the Rome trend, La Rosa in the Strand Arcade. It relaunched as a totally Roman restaurant last year, complete with a Roman Negroni on the drinks list. Next, the seductively Roman osteria Marta in Sydney's Rushcutters Bay. The owner, Flavio, is from the Lazio region, so his Aperol Spritz is better than most. Plus he's got 3 Italian gins on the specials board. Now to a wine bar opening this week in Melbourne. That's Inez in the happening hub of Chapel Street, Windsor. Inez takes its inspiration from Chef Matteo Bruno's 93-year-old Italian grandmother. So you can expect classic Roman wine bar food like stuffed olives and gnocchi alla romana. But the clincher at Inez is their very own Italian bartender, Stefano Cinelli, direct from Lazio. There's more to come from Rome with James Wilkinson right after this break.
You're watching Business Class on Sky News Business. Welcome back to Business Class.
Welcome back to Rome, and you're watching Business Class. Now it's time to check into one of the city's newest hotels, the Elizabeth Unique Hotel. This is one of the newest hotels in Rome, and not a big hotel, is it?
It is. We just opened 3 months ago. It's a new kid in the block, and it's a small boutique art hotel. We decided to call it Unique Hotel because we consider boutique hotel as a term a little bit old and somehow a little bit abused. So we said, how can we exceed and move forward compared to the demand of the current customers, which are the new expectation. And we made a study, we made a very specific analysis about the modern contemporary travel demand. And we understood that, at least this is our feeling, that nowadays luxury is not about appearing, it's not about appearance, but goes much far beyond expectation, exceeding the expectation of the customer, trying to understand what they are looking for in traveling. So it's all about experience. This is why we called this hotel Elizabeth Unique Hotel, original by experience. So the idea is to create a platform, an artistic and cultural platform where different people can meet and create synergy, energy, I would say.
And you do a lot of little things for the guests. I noticed this morning when I ordered coffee to my room, it came up with some pastries. So
Yeah.
just little things like that, obviously, are what guests want nowadays, aren't they?
I think that if you run a 500 or 600 rooms hotel operation, you can't offer this kind of detail. You can go into the details. So I told to my staff when we were considering how to position ourselves that it was very important for us to offer an authentic and genuine F&B, food and beverage offer of gastronomy. So all the pastries, all the bread is done internally. We don't buy anything from external. So the research for the matière première is very serious. We are very picky in that respect because we want to offer a very local and authentic, as I said, experience also F&B wise.
Also, there's so much great food in Rome, from little wine bars to cafeterias, gelato shops and restaurants. So F&B in the hotel has always got to be something on par from the city, doesn't it?
Absolutely, you said right, James. And again, after 30 years of experience, I told myself we have to stop competing with the restaurateur, with the local restaurant in Rome, because there is such a huge offer from traditional restaurants. And we told ourselves at the very end that people want to experience the local community. So we want them to keep them in the hotel. We want them to go outside and discover the city. So here is the moment for a paramount breakfast. Our breakfast starts at 7 o'clock and ends up at 2:30 in the afternoon. So you have a long period of breakfast. It's a very generous breakfast. Then you have the aperitif. You have this bistro concept. But we want the customer to go out of the hotel during the night to discover the local offer of restaurant. We want them to experience the city. We don't want to keep them imprisoned in the hotel.
And it's a very stylish hotel, isn't it? The interior design here is very spot on what we're seeing around the world.
It's we call it as a grand tour trip. We want the customer feel the atmosphere of the Art Deco period, but with a mix with contemporary items. So there is a sort of trip, a virtual trip between old and modern. That's the idea. And our architect, Antonio Marico, we consider has done a great job with this respect.
And you're a member of Design Hotels, and that's a pretty good group of hotels globally, isn't it?
They are great. I must say that there's been a very lucky coincidence, because we felt since the beginning, without really expressing that we felt we were a design hotel. Design hotels, not only from a look point of view, but also from a ethical point of view. We want to be very ethical, so we have a lot of values. And meeting the people of design hotels, we found out that there was a lot of common values to share. So we are very proud to be part of Design Hotel. I think it's a great combination of energies.
One of the most amazing things to do in Rome is a walking tour. Now let's go on a journey with one of the city's best. Fulvio Bonus's company Imago Artis has been taking tours of Rome for over 20 years. Today he is showing us some of his favourite things to do in Rome if you've got a few spare hours in the city. Starting off by how all Romans do, with a coffee.
Ciao James, welcome to Rome. We are in front of the best cafeteria in Rome. Well, I would say the best coffee in the world. This is here since 1938, and as you know, Italians are addicted. You know, we have a huge addiction on coffee. And let me tell you, this is my fourth one. I'm gonna have at least had 4, 5 coffees, you know, with you probably. The coffees are good because it's just very intense, you know, very short, you know, it's not, well, don't get me wrong, I'm so sorry for the American, it's not American, you know, it's not dirty water, we call, but it's very strong and it wakes you up, you know, and the taste is delicious. Here, the taste is completely different than other coffee shops because the ingredients are secret. That's what makes this place more appealing, you know, more interesting. This is my first stop. Every day, you know, walking around the city center, this is my first stop.
Now let's walk to one of the city's most iconic sites, the Colosseum.
Back in the old days, you know, it was used for entertaining, to keep people away from problems, the Roman problems for sure. Now we call wrongly this place Colosseum, but originally it was called amphitheater. The amphitheater means, you know, two theater placed one in front of the other one. You know, that's how you get the famous shape still using nowadays in every stadium. Your Majesty, you know, behind me, was built for the first time, was inaugurated 80 AD, but it was not inaugurated by the men who strongly want to erect this building, Vespasian. It was inaugurated by his son, Titus. The goal was keep everybody entertained. But how can you entertain almost a million people, a million citizens? You know? You keep this place open. They keep this place open for 2 to 3 months every day. Then almost every Roman citizen could come and see the show, the very big show, such as gladiator games, wild animal games. Imagine a wild animal coming from Africa, import to Rome, and showcases to the spectators inside the Colossus. The Colosseum has been changed. The name has been changed into Colosseum after the colossal statue placed in front of one of the 80 entrances. But careful, because the statue depicts Nero, and Nero was the previous emperor. Passed away as a damned person, as a horrible emperor.
No journey to Rome is complete without a visit to the holiest city in the world, the Vatican.
Well, we are in a different country. Guess what? You know, we can see two countries in one day. Two countries in one day. This is the second one is the Vatican City, the Pope's country. Since 1929, this became a state, a country run by the Pope, the Holy Father, the Holy Pope, who represents the new St. Peter, the current St. Peter. We had 266 Pope till now. The last one is Francis I. Francis I, an excellent, a brilliant Pope from Argentina. Well, everybody says from Argentina. I'm Italian, I have to say he's from Italy. And he's Italian 100%. Well, we are over here embraced by these fantastic columns, you know, realized by Gian Lorenzo Bernini, the inventor of the Roman Baroque. And up above the columns we have 140 saints. The basilica is the biggest church ever built. It took 120 years to have this done. On the left-hand side of the basilica we have this brick building, very simple honestly, that is the Sistine Chapel from outside. Inside looks grandiose, you know, inside looks incredibly decorated in fresco by Michelangelo and other people, of course, not just by Michelangelo, but outside looks like a fortress. Probably that's what it was supposed to be, a fortress to defend and protect the tomb of St. Peter. Because don't forget, behind the, underground, the basilica, St. Peter's Basilica, we have Peter's tomb, the original tomb of the closest man to Jesus by the 1st century AD. You can see the dome. The dome has been realized first, and then the basilica after all.
Well, that's it from us in Rome. Thanks for watching, and see you next time from California.
You're watching Business Class on Sky News Business.